All right, so I hope everybody's good, sound, and safe. And let's just start this video on the topic of saying difficult words, letters, and sounds. The people who struggle with their speech, the people who have a hard time speaking, they often notice that there are any specific words, letters, or sounds that they usually struggle with or that they have historically struggled with in the past. So they always say, like I have seen and I've heard many of my clients say, that I'm working on my speech, I'm speaking well, that's all right. But whenever I go into a speaking situation and whenever I encounter a word that I have historically struggled with, that is where I start to anticipate it, I start to worry about it, and I start to get stuck, right? So, what to do in that regard? For those who don't know me, my name is Farrukh, and I'm serving as a certified Pro 90 speech coach, working with clients all over the world, helping them work on their speech and moving them towards excellent and amazing speech, no matter whatever their starting point is. So, if you are looking for a one on one speech coach, and particularly if you stutter, if you stammer, or you have those issues, then you can get a one on one hold of me and I can make you reach where you want much, much faster. So I've left down some links in the description that you can look up to. All right. And once again, for those who don't know, I'm also someone who used to struggle severely with my speech in the past. Sometimes I could not even say a single word on occasions, but the Pro 90 speech system helped me move from that place up to this place. And now I'm working as a Pro 90 coach, serving clients all around the world. All right, so let's get straight into the topic. How do you say words that you have historically struggled with? How do you say something where you feel like you would get stuck? What to do in those circumstances? Well, first, let's discuss something that I don't want you to do in those circumstances, and that is I don't want you to force out of it, right? This is a mistake that I've seen many, many people do. Even when they're working on their speech, they feel like I have a word, I'm anticipating it, I don't know how to say it, so let's just force it out, or let's just try to force that word out, and then we'll move back into our new speaking style, and then we would flow back with our speech. Now, the problem with that is the more you force out words, the more you are showing yourself that you speak disfluently, that there is a disfluency in your speech. And the more you do that, the more you might associate yourself with it, and the more it might happen. So make it a rule. Make it your number one rule that from now on, you will not be forcing out words at all. Stop forcing out words at all. Now, you might be asking yourself, or you might be asking me, all right, we don't want to force out words, but we have to. But even if you're saying, Farrukh, that we don't have to force out our words, then what we have to do? How do we say those words? How do we say those letters? How do we say those sounds? Before that, one more mistake that I see people doing is that when they're working on their speech, they try to work on specific words, letters, or sounds that they actually struggle with. And that is the main reason why they actually have a hard time saying those words. This might sound a bit weird to you, but this happens a lot. Because if you're not working on your speech as a whole, and you're just trying to work on specific words, letters, and sounds, the problem with that is you are becoming even more focused on those words. When you would be more focused, whenever you would be in a speaking situation, that word would arrive, you would become even more focused on. Hence, you would anticipate that more. Hence, you would worry about it more, and hence, you would get stuck more. So, make sure that you work on your speech as a whole. This is the first thing that I want you to do. Instead of trying to work on specific words, letters, or sounds, you have to work on saying this word. I have to work on saying that word. No. You have to work on your speech as a whole. You have to work on extending, blending, mottling, inflecting, pausing, finishing, affirmation, self-talk, all the stuff that we talk about in this YouTube channel, on Michael's YouTube channel, and inside the Pro 90 speech system. Because once you work on your speech as a whole, once you change the way you speak as a whole, these words take care of themselves. Just like right here, we are not trying to cure stuttering, we're not trying to cure stammering. We're trying to replace it with a smoother speaking style. When we work towards becoming an excellent and amazing speaker, stuttering, stammering, and all these words just take care of themselves. So try to work on your speech as a whole. Try to work on your speech as a whole. Now, The second thing, the more you speak in a flow when you're speaking, the less you would anticipate and the less you would get stuck. Let me say that again. The more you would be speaking in a flow, the less of a chance you give yourself or you give your brain to anticipate the word, to worry about it, and get stuck on it. Now, what do I mean by that? If you remember, I shared a video on my YouTube channel named Extending and Blending. And if you have not looked at that video, you can go onto my channel. Well, you are on my channel, but you can just look up that video. And there I speak about how you speak while extending and blending your words, how you speak in a flow. Because if you don't speak in a flow and if you speak in a choppy manner, you give yourself a chance to anticipate and get stuck. For example, if I am speaking in short phrases like this, what I'm doing is that I'm giving my brain a chance to anticipate every single word, almost every single word, which is giving me more of a chance to actually get stuck, right? Instead of this, if I speak in a flow, instead of this, if I'm speaking in a flow where I'm extending my words and more importantly, I'm linking my words together. If you notice, what I'm doing is that I'm trying to glue my words together. I'm not leaving any spaces between my words. When you keep speaking like that without leaving any spaces between your words, you would anticipate less and less because you're not giving yourself a chance to anticipate. You would anticipate more if you speak word by word or if you speak in short phrases. So try to speak in a flow while extending and even more importantly, blending, trying to link every single word together, right? Because the more you speak like that, the less you give yourself a chance to anticipate the words and get stuck on that. And believe it or not, the problem is not with any specific words. Let me prove that to you right now. You would have found yourself in various speaking situations, and after that speaking situation, you would have just looked back and said, how was I able to say that word? I have historically struggled with that word. So, how was I able to actually say that word? Right? So, has that ever happened to you? If that has happened to you, the main reason why it has happened to you because at that time you weren't focusing on that. Just because you were speaking in a flow, you weren't focusing on that word. And because you weren't focusing on that word, you weren't worrying about it, right? And hence you did not get stuck. So the problem, once again, is not with any specific words, believe it or not. The problem is with anticipation. If you can take care of this anticipation of this worry, the words would take care of themselves. And as I said, the more you speak in a flow, the less of a chance you give yourself to get stuck. So always remember to breathe, extend and blend, and always remember to make your phrases as long as you can. So don't speak in short phrases. Try to make the phrases as long as you can because the longer your phrases, that is, the more you say in a single breath, the easier would it be for you to flow. The easier would it be for you to extend and blend. And the less of a chance you give yourself to anticipate, to worry, and then to get stuck. Right? So try to speak more in a flow. And in order to make your phrases longer, in order to say more in a single breath, you would also have to breathe more. So breathe, extend, and blend. You can visualize it like inhaling from your nose, speaking on the exhalation, and while you're speaking on the exhalation, making sure that, or just visualizing it as the words are riding your waves. And those words are linked, those words are interconnected, they are not separate. The words are interconnected together, the words are interconnected, the words are interconnected together. And this brings me towards the next point. What if you are speaking in a flow, but in a moment you just start to anticipate a word, and now you're feeling like, hey, you might get stuck on that word. So you were speaking in a flow, but all of a sudden your attention starts to go onto a word that you have historically struggled with, and now you're feeling, hey, I might get stuck on that word. What to do in that situation? One simple thing that might sound simple, it might not be as simple as it sounds, is to not say that word by itself. Make sure that you don't say that word by itself. If you start to anticipate it, if you start to worry about it, don't say that word by itself. link it or blend it with the words previous to it. Make sure that you really link it, blend it with the words previous to it, right? So, for example, I'm saying that I am from Pakistan. I'm from Pakistan, and I start to worry about the word of Pakistan, and I feel like I might get stuck on it. So instead of saying I'm from and then feeling like forcing that word out, try to link that word with the words prior to it. So actually, I'm from Pakistan. I am from Pakistan. I am from Pakistan. So to the brain, it would sound like we are not saying Pakistan. We are saying I'm from Pakistan. I'm from Pakistan. From Pakistan. From Pakistan. So you're actually having to trick your brain in a sense, letting it know that you're not saying a word that you find maybe hard to say, you're linking it with another word and it sounds like a one long word. So I'm from Pakistan. I'm from Pakistan. So even if you're speaking and you do start to anticipate, instead of saying that word by itself, always make sure that you link it with the words previous to it. That you link it with the words previous to it. Even if you're on that word and the flow breaks, go back and link at it again. For example, so basically I'm from Pakistan. I'm from Pakistan. So you see, I went back and I linked at it again. But if you're linking and you stop right before that word, then you're back to where you started. So don't stop before those words. So I'm from Pakistan. Yeah, actually, I'm from Pakistan. I'm from Pakistan. The more you do it, the easier and easier it will get for you. And you don't have to do it for your whole life. When you keep doing that, and when you keep speaking smoothly using this, your brain sees you speaking smoothly more and more. After a point in time, your brain would stop worrying about it because your brain would say, hey, now this is a word that we can say with ease. So let's stop focusing on it. So you would stop focusing on these words. Then you would stop anticipating them. You would stop worrying about them. And hence you would stop getting stuck on them. I worked on this a whole lot of the time. I kept working on breathing, extending, and blending, and wherever I felt like, or I used to feel like I would get stuck on it, I would always think, right? The more and more I did that, the easier and easier it gets for me. And now, because I've seen myself speaking that word or those words smoothly so many times, my brain doesn't worry about them. And so now I can say it by themselves as well, and I can say it with the words previous to them as well, right? Same like your name. If someone asks your name, then you might say, if someone asks me my name, I have to just give my name. How to link it with more words? The answer to that is don't say that name by itself. Add some extra words. So instead of saying Farrukh, say, yeah, sure, my name is Farrukh. So I am Farrukh. So my name is Farrukh. My name is Farrukh. My name is Farrukh. So your brain would feel like, okay, we're not saying Farrukh, we're saying my name is Farrukh. My name is Farrukh. My name is Farrukh. The more you do that, the easier and easier your speaking would become, and the more and more smoother you would speak, right? Look at your speech like water. Water keeps flowing. Even if there is a hindrance, water would go from the right side, from the left side, from above, from beneath, or it would come back and hit at it again, but it wouldn't stop. So let your speech flowing. So when you're speaking in a flow, breathing, extending, and blending, speaking is a lot easy for you. Even if there is a hindrance, even if you do start to anticipate, just link it and move along. The more you do it, the less and less that anticipation would get, and the less and less you would get stuck. So you might say that, okay, in some situations, I might find that it might not work. So I can almost guarantee it 100% that there would not be a situation where this wouldn't work. This would work in absolutely every single speaking situation. But even, let's say, although it would not happen, but let's say I'm saying this because I know you might ask this after this video. So even if you say that, I still feel like I might get stuck on it, even by linking. In the worst case scenario, you can change that word, you can replace that word. But that should be the last resort. That should be the last option. And that 99.99% of the times it should not happen. But even if you feel like it would not work right in that instant, just switch that word around and just keep throwing with your speech, right? Because our main goal is to show our brain more and more successful speaking experiences. Because the more we do that, the less focus the brain would put on speaking, because speaking would become very easy. And when the brain stops focusing on speaking, that is where the magic happens. That is where you can say whatever you want, whenever you want, and in the way that you want. Right? So I hope this was helpful. Stop forcing out words, work on your speech as a whole, work on making your speech flow, breathing, extending, and blending. Even if you feel like you might get stuck on a word, link it with the words previous to it. The more you do it, the easier and easier speaking would get for you. All right. So, as I said at the starting of this video, if you're looking to work one on one with me, I can make you reach where you want much, 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 much faster by giving you more accountability, more encouragement, more feedback, laser focused feedback, and that can save you a lot of time and you can reach where you want much, much faster. So I've been working with so many clients all over the world. I have clients from Asia, I have clients from Europe, I have clients from Australia, I have clients from the US, and I've been helping them improve their speech, right? So if you're looking forward for that, I've shared some links in the description to actually get a one-on-one hold of me. All right. So I hope this was helpful, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video. And may you be blessed. And remember, you're an excellent and amazing speaker. Thank you.